Right. So mainly we will try to find the answer or discuss some relevant question about what is life about and what is universe actually, and how both have a relation between life and universe, because both depend on each other, and we need to find out whether there is a correlation between life and the universe. Um, are there any principles are operating, uh, or they are running, or they are passing by directionless? So that's why we need to find out, and we need to understand deeply about principles in relation with the life and the universe. And of course, that derives towards some more results towards success and our personal development. Um, and we will more discuss about how principle govern our life and the results we get actually, how we receive the consequences. So this is our session content. There are a couple of things which will very exciting for me, and hopefully that will also excited for you. Like for example, what is universe, and what is a life in terms of materialistic point of view, and what is a life in terms of non-materialistic point of view. Non-materialistic, you can also say from spiritual perspective, and material side being as a physical point of view, from the physical perspective. Then there is a big question that we cannot measure the principles. Like we can measure the scientific facts, but not the principles. Why and how, or is it is a reality? Then basically the whole presentation is about our morality, um, and how we can measure and how we can bring the success in our life in terms of morality. So we will also discuss about these things. Uh, so principles are the lighthouse. Well, we will see many people, they don't have this notion with them. They think that the principles are not the lighthouse. We will find out. And then the whole person paradigm, that's a great paradigm from our famous author, Dr. Stephen R. Covey. They also give us a great insight about principles and it in relation to the person's success. So we will briefly review it as well. Then the real successful values are grounded under the tip of iceberg. That's a very interesting. It's one of my favorite section. Then the brainstorming segment, um, and then the 7 habits principle-based paradigm. The 7 habit. Why I'm choosing the 7 habit? Because the 7 habit is one of the very few literature book in 20th century, which is actually only based on 7 habit, and the 7 habit is the greatest book of the 20th century. So we will also learn about how these 7 habits paradigm will help us to understand principle. Then we will discuss about path of failure, how people fail and why they feel um, a disappointment, sorrows, and sadness in their life. And also we will discuss about uh, principle of success. Then we will do also some brainstorming type of question, and then we will go for the conclusion. So these are some interesting content which we will discuss today. So if any one of you have some question, please raise your hand, and then I will give to you. You can have a audio session as well. You can play your video as well, or in other case, there is a chat also available. So in all cases, you are very welcome to ask any question at any time during my presentation. So I'm going to but before starting, there are some questions about our presentation. I would like to say, so this is the acknowledgement that the mostly content I took from the famous book, The Speed of Trust, written by son of Dr. Stephen Covey. It's amazing, one of my favorite book. Then The Eighth Habit, written by Dr. Stephen R. Covey, and then The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. Many of people you know about these legendary books written by Dr. Stephen Covey. So these are my acknowledgement. Mostly images and text are taken from them, but the rest of the things are my own property, are my own opinions. So this is just acknowledgement. I'm going to show you some announcement before we start it. We arrange this online session every Sunday, 8 p.m. British Standard Time on Zoom, and the link will be sent you privately. For some security reason, we cannot send you link in advance. We will be sending you this link in your email or private WhatsApp message because of hacking or some inappropriate things can be taken on Zoom media due to security issue. So every Sunday, 8 p.m. Also, we will choose every Sunday different topic. I will make a presentation for you, and that will be followed by question answer. We also need some volunteer to work with us. If you want to work with me and want to improve your life, then you need to do some intellectual work and some administrative work. You're very welcome to work with me in a capacity of administration and also intellectual. I have created a Google Classroom. It's a free app you can download on your iPhone or Android smartphone, where I will be posting everything regarding next session, or we can discuss as well. If you want to join, this is a link, or you can search to join that class. This is a code. You can note down as well, or I can send you a separate message for this. So this is a classroom link, not for public, just for invitation basis. So you all are invited. If you are watching this recording or you are live with me, you are very welcome to join our Google Classroom. And if you have any query, you can email me, is lifemasterysuccess@gmail.com. So let's start with our presentation. But before going for presentation, we need to respect the privacy of the session. We need to mute the mic, and if you don't want to show our face, then we have to stop our webcam. You can take the notes. You can mute all the time your microphone. You have any question, raise the hand. Thank you very much, and let's start it to save our time. Who's this session for? Anyone who is a truth lover or reality seeker, who wants to meaningful brainstorming, who want to challenge their thoughts, any thought which you learned from your parents, grandparents, from your society, you're born, you brought up, or where you are now. So, and you love, so this is session for you. You want to make a difference, this is for you. If you want to change your life from 360 degree, this is session for you as well. Also, if you want to discover your voice, like Dr. Stephen has said in his book, which is based on habit number 8, or if you have read the book, The 7 Habits, or if you want to reread, this session is for you as well. So let's begin your start now. If you have any question, please raise your hand because I need to cover a lot of content. That's why I have to run quickly. So let's start it. That gentleman is observing something and is observing actually the universe. But the universe, what is meaning for me? That universe does mean that everything outside my is the universe, including my surrounding, my environment. This is also universe, or in generally we also called it world. Um, but overall, generically, everything covers outside me is universe. Now, what is a universe before we understand the principles? So basically, the universe is composed of elements, objects, masses, planets, black matter, space, ether, um, also so many big objects, galaxies, and our world actually, our planet Earth, um, which is composed of um, more than 79% of water, 21% of continents. So that's all including universe. So I just want to make your our imagination that what is a universe about. So that's why you will be more interesting. Are they following any principle or all everything is going directionless? That is a big question nowadays. So many people are voting for both, and they have a different opinion. So that's why I want you to think on that: is everything running or operating under principle or directionless, or it is a design by some creator that you call it God, or maybe some other supernatural power behind this whole operation of massive universe. Um, we don't know. Everybody has to pursue, or some people say that it is a by chance. It's a coincidence that we are in this world, and that's why we are very sad because we don't deserve to be in this world. So there are so many things. So before understanding, I want to make you understand what is a universe. So let's go on our other side. Um, you may be familiar with this picture. This is a microorganism or a cell in a unit of our life. So I'm actually going to tell you what is actually life from material point of view. I'm not going to discuss a spiritual perspective now, which I will come later. Just as a materialistic point of view, what is life and what is composed by. So everybody knows that the life is composed of many cells. There are cytoplasm is there is a nucleus in each cell. There are ribosomes in which the genes are located, and the genes have genetic description and coding, which we have to uncoding if we need to know about these things. So this is a single unit of every organism, whether they are unicellular or whether they are multicellular. Like we are a multicellular, and many like so much volume of organism or living object are only of one single cell. So I want to make a just deep concept of life, and life start from a single cell, like millions of years ago, and that started, and still it it does exist, isn't it? How we reproduce one cell multiply with other to produce more cell, and that's the how the reproduction is happening everywhere. What principle exists um, before me in the life? So before life, was there any principle operating, or even after life, after first singular cell, was there any life? Of course, there was life, but was there any principle or rule that was governing that a single principle? Um, well, the many people think that the life would not exist without principle, because the principle lies in each and every phenomena, whether smaller or bigger principle, everything is operating under principle. And that's why it's a beauty of principle everywhere. Whether people thinking that they are, uh, inculcate or they are infused by God, or it is going automatically under the Big Bang theory results we know in this world. Um, well, let's see. Do you know that all living things are made by cells? But the how cell is made by. So basically, I want to take you there. The cells are made by atoms, molecules. So basically, they are made by matter also. So their and life origin is also matter, physically matter, like the all objects in the world and universe have the origin started from right atom, molecules. So our life is also has is combination of these type of uh, millions of billions of objects or molecules, atoms uh, for any of multicellular organism, including me, my nose, my ears, my eyes, my face, my body parts have billions or trillions of these type of giant uh, combinations and groups and galaxies in me, and that uh, if they are different, then they are forming a different life, and that's how it's going on, isn't it? Now comes to the come to our very important thing, how everything now these are governing, because from unicellular to a very complex mind, like my mind is very complex, um, from single cell or atom to trillions atom or molecule based object, like my physical brain, my skeleton in my body, and my every organ is made by trillions of molecules and stuff. How all these have been made? Well, um, there is some rules which we have to see from a non-materialistic point of from perspective. So now I'm going to show you the life in a different perspective, which is a non-materialistic perspective, or you can say spiritual way, that the how life is composed in a non-physical way. This is very important because life is a combination of physical and non-physical, materialistic plus spiritual way. So how the spiritual way is operating within uh, that person or that living thing. Um, so that's we are going to discuss now. So in spiritually way, there are many things like thoughts, um, conscious, spirit, mind, delusions. You know, there are so many psychological diseases. There are a lot of things which we can't see. For example, feelings, pain, we can't see, but they exist in our side. Nobody can see. Nobody even imagine, but they exist, isn't it? So these are the spiritual side of the life. And now the question is, are they operating like physical dimension? They are operating with some certain principles, with some rules, with some pattern, and non-physical and spiritual way also life is operating with some hidden, unseen um, principles. And what these principles are there, Um, One of the principle is if you imagine that you have a supernatural mind, or anybody has, or we also have subconscious mind, where we store a lot of things our mind deliberately or undeliberately, is and there is a conscious mind as well. For example, at the moment I'm talking with you, I have a conscious mind. I'm deliberating, speaking with you. I'm trying to discuss with you. But there is a next level as well, which is a super conscious mind. And if I do pray or if I do proper meditation or some extraordinary things, so my mind can go towards higher level, isn't it? And between conscious and superconscious, there are subconscious mind which is I cannot feel, but it's perceiving my surrounding and it's storing lot of information and it's operating as well. That's all part of my life as well, isn't it? My thoughts, my when I sleep, then my brain and my mind goes into subconscious mind, and then I see a very entirely different object in my sleep. This all part of my life. Uh, but so the question is, are they operating under any principle? Or if not, then if we follow any principles, whether they are God-given principle or man-made principle, does it impact on my life? That is the key question, and that is a point of this presentation today. So it's very fascinating. So uh, also spiritually, we there are so many philosophical dimensions of our life. For example, um, like Mr. Hassan is there, uh, he can question who I am, what is my purpose, how I come in this world, how my parents, grandparents, and thousands of years ago, where I was. So, and what what I am doing now, what should I do next, or if I don't do next, then what will happen? So these everything is governed by by something, or this is just passing by. Like many scholars, they think that the world is just a fun. You can do whatever you want. There is no such thing which is governing you. So there is, that's so much brainstorming you need to do. So I'm actually giving you a broader perspective of principles, not just a bookish a few things about these are the principles. If you follow, you will be success. If you will not follow, you will not be success. Actually, I'm making your mind towards to the deeper side and let you want to know that how your mind is actually operating with your physical brain and with your physical existence, with your spiritual existence, and all are combining together. And it obviously many people understand it in terms of philosophy. Um, I don't know if somebody have read or they you are interested in philosophy as a subject and the science and the religion. All three things gives you the social dimension, the spiritual dimension of the life actually. So um, these are very important. Many things they tell you what to do, when not to do, how to do in the world, but that's also part of our life, and it is a component of life, isn't it? And these make our body, physical body, to take action. So if I think something about particular thing, now I will take action. So my spiritual dimension is operating my physical dimension, and that's why I'm taking a action. So that's a combination. So people who think that we are just a physical phenomena and just atoms we are, and we are operating by just a matter, uh, there is a question for them about that who is operating you. Obviously, your spiritual side is operating your physical side, and that is a very beauty if we understand. And then a lot of things we can understand, and that leads us our failure and success in the life is now. The person who knows this fact more concretely, more easily, they operate in a positive way. Otherwise, they feel success, or they feel failure, or um, it's very very obvious these things. Or if anybody knows about thinking pattern, like we think about failure, success, day and night, good, bad, right, wrong. Uh, why we are thinking in this pattern? Is it of also principle, or I mean, if I say day, night, right, wrong, so is there also a lot of things between them? Uh, this is a very fundamental question. Are human a popular thinking pattern is a dual nature. We think and we do in terms of two things, opposite things. Um, so, and this is a principle, but that principle are human. We have designed it. We are doing it. Maybe there are third dimension or fourth dimension of day and night is there, or right and wrong as well. That is just I put this point to think about that, because I think that there are more principles which we know, and our dual nature, which thinking dual pattern have little flaw or limited, that make our paradigm locked. We have to come out, think out of the box in a multi-dimension way, not only one way, which is given by our society. So this is all our known material side way. So let's go. There is a last thing about non-material side about have you attached with any person who is very spiritual? Possibly he or she can be a religious person, or a philosophical person, or a scientific person. Uh, or you can get the spirituality for them. And when you meet them, they actually look like you are getting something from them if you are in that company. That usually we do when we are with our parents, or are with teachers, or with our gurus or mentors or spiritual leaders. So why we feel very comfortable? Because of our spiritual dimension is actually very much getting from these people and from their thoughts into my thoughts through my brain, and that uh, following a principle. So that was a ground which I was going to prepare for you before a deeper perspective um, of uh, net principles. So uh, let's go towards real side. So we know that our physical dimension and our spiritual dimension is operating with principle. That's fine. Whether they are natural principles or man-made principles, or just unknown principles, or maybe just unknown principles. But now the question is, uh, if we want to govern life, our life actually, do we need to follow certain type of principle, or any principle we can follow, or just without principle? So, for example, that person has some compass in the mind where that compass or conscious strength or spiritual strength guide her or him all the time. What to do, what not to do, avoid it, go for it, just do it, don't do it. Oh, that's it right, or that's wrong. Don't do this, do this. So, who is guiding us? That dimension is called moral compass. Yeah, that is called moral compass, which is responsible for morality of our life. And there are principles associated with this, which we call it moral principles. And Dr. Stephen is saying that these are the natural principles, which actually in this age we are taking away. Our society have gone taken away from these principles. So that's the problem, that we are not successful. There are certain laws of morality um, acting with these compass, and so much things. There are so many idea ideas, values, themes, right and wrong sense, and integrity. All things are associated with these morality. To be honestly, mostly religious or philosophical or scientific paradigms based morality are more or less same. That what is right, what is wrong, with little bit differences. But there are morality which operate or governs our thing. But many people in our world, they don't believe on morality. They think that these moral laws or principles are not actually in our action or should not be there, because every person has a different perspective or background or the life operation. So they have to think on an individual level. So you cannot control the millions of people with one law. So this is their point of view, and you need to find that are they people saying right, or you have your own point of view. So this is in every university, or in our business world, we also learn about ethics, um, business ethics, for example, Christian ethics, Islamic ethics, Buddhist ethics, um, social ethics. So these ethics subject is also associate with our principles. So they actually try to associate our everyday life or family life or personal life or social life or business or professional life with somehow on a larger or small level with ethics. And that ethics actually uh, are different in many places, but more or less they have the same thing, that they give you the governing charter of your life in a particular dimension. So, like these ethics, you can get from the religion as well. You can These ethics can get from the country where you are living. So every country manifestation or constitution or legal framework are also under these ethics or more moral laws, which they think that they are better, or they think that they are natural. So these are the things which are everywhere. Uh, so also there are many other things like integrity, hardworking, um, law of hardworkness, law of gravitation in terms of science, law of abundance mentality, law of failure, principle of success, principles of management. So there are so many. In every dimension of life, we will be see um, ethics, moral laws. Everything is governed under a moral law principle. But the problem is why we still do not uh, get success, because they are not um, understood correctly or rightly or in a deeper way. That's why we lack in our life. But once we start to follow our ethical life or our morality based life, then we um, start to derive positively. That gives us mind that has a peace. So this is a popular version I'm telling you, but many people think that no, that it is not the way. But they have a different things. Um, so they think that honesty or respect and other values, they don't have any integral or fundamental contribution in the life. Or abundance mentality. This is another law. This is a very important. So in contrast with abundance mentality, there is scarcity mindset. uh, so it's very different. There is a love versus fear, faith versus doubt, integrity versus selfishness, uh, compassionate versus resentment, growth versus resisting change, collaboration, creativity are opposing against isolation and competition. So all are under some laws and things. So once we start to fear, then whole this line we will start to follow automatically. And once we do have a love or abundance, then we will feel all these things automatically. So how these are come? These are definitely because of there are certain principles behind these things. And then whether we go on path of mediocrity or path of greatness by following this, we actually go. We definitely go for this. It is interesting. So we famously know that if we follow principle, then the whole nature start to serve you, and whole nature is in your favor. And it is also um, called in law of attraction, where whatever you want to achieve, so once you are starting to work a systematic way to achieve your goal, the whole universe or people and object are start to make a contribution to achieve that goal. Everything is start to work with you, but because you are following a principle. This is a very beautiful dimension, I believe so, and they are referring to the natural laws as well. Uh, so now the question is, principles cannot be measured, isn't it? Like if you have a scientific theory, so you can find how you can verify that this is true or not true. Can anybody answer? If you know or if you have any law, whether they are scientific or religious or anything, what are the dimensions you can say that these are true or these are not true, these are right or these are wrong? Any idea you have? So I want to tell you, you may know about many famous law like Newton's law of motion or gravitational laws or Einstein theory of relativity, or there are many other spiritual side of law like law of integrity, law of character, competence, law of hard working, law of harvest, or blah blah blah. So all these laws you can measure. Yes, I can measure the first three laws because they are scientific law, and scientific law cannot be a law if we cannot get a quantitative conclusion, um, a numeric description, a figure basically. But what about the honesty? How we can measure that person is a honest or that person is a very, we have a very strong personality and integrity or courage or stuff. Or can you measure them? My voice is coming. You guys can hear me. You can hear me. You can unmute yourself and then you can speak as well. Mr. Ifzal Hassan, you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Know before I can't.
Okay.
Before I can't because it was muted from you was controlling the mute. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. You can hear
Yeah.
me. Okay. Thank you very
As
much.
you said, now the scientific laws are the, as you gave the example of the laws of the Newtons. They can, if they can't be measured, they can't be laws because they are the scientific, and it has to be measured numerically. It has to be proven. But I think the law of the what's it called, the law of the morality, the law of the ethics, they can't be measured as such. The scientific laws can be measured numerically, but yes, it can be proven by their actions.
Okay. So you're saying that the actions are the only means how we can measure these morality-based law. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And what about if we are taking a wrong action, and how we know that we are taking a wrong action?
If we are taking the wrong action, then obviously we are going against the law of
Excellent.
the honesty, the law of the integrity, the law of the hardworking. If we are taking
well done, well done. Excellent, excellent. Now I will continue from you. I'm going to mute you, and then you can raise the hand. I will unmute you.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. So how we can verify these laws? Obviously, quantity-wise, we cannot, but in terms of consequences, what we are getting, that will define that our laws are going well. So, well, obviously that we cannot make a law or standard things, but what I'm trying to say, for example, if somebody is following a certain pattern and after that, that person becomes a millionaire, yeah. So does it mean that that person taking all steps or thinking pattern or the approach or paradigm which he have were the principle based or natural laws? No, we cannot. So why we cannot say every person have a different dimension of criteria to get success. So for example, to become a millionaire is not a success for many people, or maybe it is a success, a criteria for that person who have become a millionaire recently, or a person who have big, slim her body uh, because she used some quick solution to reduce her or his body weight. So it does not mean that the means or technology or other method which she adopts or she thinks or she get the physical intelligence or success uh, is due to some natural laws. No. So natural laws are those laws actually which are acceptable in every society universally most of the time, and they are very popular. At the end of a presentation, before this end of presentation, I will there is a text which we will read as well. It will tell you about these details as well. So let's go to the forward as well. So obviously we understand that subjective truth we cannot measure, but we have to turn our principle into objective truth. But objective truth does mean that we need to take right action to get the right result. So these are the things which we have to do is, or we know that the principle always means that something is going on with some proper pattern, regular pattern, you know. So these are the things. Like Galileo said once, it's a very good quote, law of physics are written in mathematics, which we can calculate. But morality cannot be measured, or moral laws we cannot measure. That's the same thing which we just discussed, and Mr. Ifzal explained very well. Now I'm going to show you or refer you a video of Dr. Stephen, in which he is explaining a beautiful event, a beautiful lesson, a description about what are natural laws mean actually, and how laws impact on you. It is a 3 to 4 minute video, so I have to play, and I think let me see if I can show you from here. If you can't hear the voice of that video, then please let me know, because at the moment I need to use, let me see. Yeah, I think you should be able to see my listen my computer voice as well. Let me see, principle based. I think it's going to be just a little bit slow. Okay, this is a 3-4 minute video, and I invite you to watch this, because Dr. Stephen himself can explain what are the natural laws actually. Yeah. So, and if you can't hear me, please let me know that you can't hear me. Then I will make it voice.
It was a dark and stormy night. Captain, Captain, wake up. Oh, what is it? Sorry to waken you, sir, but we have a serious problem. Well, what is it? There's a ship in our sea lane about 20 miles away, and they refuse to move.
I just want to ask you guys, can you hear it? Yeah, you can hear the sound.
Yes, yes, we can hear the sound. It's not a problem.
Excellent, excellent. I'm muting it.
Tell them to move. Sir, we have. They won't move. I'll tell them. Signal goes out. Move starboard 20 degrees at once. The signal returns. Move starboard yourself 20 degrees at once. I can't believe this. I mean, I'm a captain. Let them know who I am. I am important. Signal goes out. This is Captain Horatio Hornblower, the 26th, commanding you to move starboard 20 degrees at once. Signal returns. This is Seaman Carl Jones, the 3rd. commanding you to move starboard 20 degrees at once. What arrogance. Who is this joker? I mean, we're a battleship. We could just blow them. Let them know who we are. Signal goes out. This is the mighty Missouri, flagship of the 7th Fleet. The signal returns. This is the lighthouse. That's a true story, by the way. It's found in the Naval Proceedings Manual, where they literally interpreted a lighthouse to be a ship. But I like the story because...
So, yeah, so this is the beauty of principles, and the principles in our life are like a lighthouse, like Stephen Covey has said in a true incident. So because we follow these principles, and when we are in the journey of in life, like a sea, and we are on the ship, so we need actually some principles to follow. So these lighthouse right in the ocean and sea are principle to be follow. So this is a beautiful picture. So, but there is a problem. Even though if we are, sorry, let me, I need to play slideshow from the current slide. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. So even if we are very good in our stuff, why we are not successful sometime if we are follow the principle? Anybody can tell that sometimes we are not successful even if we are following the principle. Anybody can tell us?
It may be we are not following the principles as it should be followed, right? The directions
Okay.
of the...
Okay, I will take your answer, and then I will let you know.
Yeah, I think it could be that we are not consistent.
Well done, very good. I will take from here. I'm going to mute you again. Yeah, well done, Zara. That's one of the answer you have just told, that many people are not successful even they know that what are the principles, because of our lack of a paradigm, right paradigm of about ourselves. So many people, they don't know who we are. So even if we don't know who we are, and we are follow our universal truths, we will not be successful. So we have to understand first, and we know that who we are. Dr. Stevens says, and many prestige scholars says, we are combination of 4 things: body, mind, heart, spirit. So body, mind, heart, spirit have their own needs, have their own intelligences. If we know only 2 and we are working on only 2, and we are neglecting the 1 or the 2 other dimensions, then we actually will fail, no matter we are following the principle. So that's my point, that every human being consists of a physical dimension, and then the mental dimension, and then the social or emotional dimension, and that then also the governed by 3 by spiritual dimensions. So these are the 4 dimensions. So until we are complete in 4 things, then we need to follow the principle, and then we will living a great life with a great result. So that's why many people, they have flaws in their life, even though they know the magics of life. And why? Because one of the thing is missing, or sometimes many or half things. So this is why the whole person paradigm is so important. And this is a fundamental playing role in um, our physical or economic welfare, or our mental welfare, or social or emotional welfare, or even spiritual, which is guiding other three. So these are the very important things. And when I know about these things, like in my life, when I was following many great principles, but they were not on the spot, then I did my brainstorming, and I consulted some of the gurus or mentors, and then read Dr. Stevens' articles. Then actually I found this secret that I need to work on physically. I need to learn to upgrade my mental knowledge. I need to have a great heart in order to build great relationships, and also have a great sense of the conscious, which give me the right and the wrong, or from the sacred literature which I did. Once my whole person will be balanced, then I will start to follow the principle, and then it was right on the spot. So this is one of the key things which we have to know about. And uh, after becoming a, whole person, or on the way of the journey of the whole person, we have to follow this set of great values. And these set of the great values are like physical intelligence, which is responsible for discipline in our life, has so many values under the water. We have to unleash them. Our body has ability to do all these things, which even we don't know how other people can know. You see, that's the beauty of the things. I have a mental intelligence or the vision, which is very slightly up, or people know that, I know that, but I don't know what my mind can do. There are so many values under the water of my mind. How I can unleash them until I will not read the books, until I don't sit or have connect with scholars. Uh, my vision will be very, very poor, because I don't have knowledge, unfortunately, even in this information knowledge workers. My heart, which generates ripples of love, or connectivity with other people, is very poor. That generates the passion to live in the life. But the passion or heart has so many hidden values which I don't have. Or maybe I have, I don't know. Or maybe some of the things. So these are the potential capacity which are deep under the water. We have to unleash them. Then our intelligence, or emotionally, or our relationships will be great. The same thing with the spiritual intelligence. The spiritual intelligence is, which is actually subject of today, that they are responsible for moral laws within ourselves, which makes us humble, which gives us abundance mentality, makes us respectful, compassionate about others, have a fair feeling, with a sense of integrity, takes responsibility, be proactive, always enthusiastic, and blah, 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 blah. And how we can know, we can increase, or we can get conscious higher through sacred knowledge, or higher level of books or scholars we know about them. So these are all real values which we have to unleash in order to follow, or to follow right principle, and to get the right result. These are the real amazing things. So now we are closing hopefully within 15 minutes. So before 15 minutes, I give you 2 minutes for just brainstorming. Yeah, just think about what do you think that you are getting positive or constructive results when you followed or committed with principle based path in your life? Do you think that you get the positive result, or you have some bad experience whether you get the positive result or not? um, I will unmute the mic of anybody can share your thoughts.
I think definitely if we stick to the paradigm shift and we are shifting the paradigm as per the four intelligences altogether, then definitely there will be positive or constructive results. Initially, maybe it's difficult because I myself faced a difficulty because the results cannot be like there and then. You have to wait and watch, and you have to keep on working on yourself. So it's not like a overnight thing, or it's just an ongoing process. It's like reconstructing the wheel.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, absolutely. These are time-taking things, and you have to wait. It's absolutely like when uh, you plow something into the soil, and you have to give water, and you need to sunshine on that surface and the soil, and wait that something come out from the soil, and it will turn into tiny plant, and then it will grow, and then it will become a tree, and then you start to get result. 100%, absolutely. I agree with you about that thing. Okay, somebody is entering in our room. Because of security reason, I don't know whether he or she is a genuine person, because they can hack our meeting. But I don't know who is or his or her name is Vivo 1908. I don't know who is. Let me. Dr. Suhail Ali. I'm not sure who is he or she. Okay, but bear with me. Sometimes hackers are coming in our chat room because I have locked my whole thing so that nobody can come. If somebody hack my this session, I will disconnect and I will restart, and then please come back again. It's just 10 minutes presentation is left. Yeah, so I'm going to admit that person. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I think the new participant is in chat room. Very we welcome. So let's go further before we because we need to cover a lot of content as well. So now let's go toward the 7 habits principle based paradigm. And why this is important? Because this is important. And nowadays we have thousands of books in the market, but very few books are related with principles based success and their literature. The 7 habit principle is also based on principle, and that's the beauty of that. That's why it is called the Bible of 20th century of the business world. So everybody was changing their paradigm, and the paradigm coming as a paradigm shift, and that shifting is still continue. It helped me in my life, and also to my lot of colleagues and students and my family, my everybody. So that's why this paradigm is very important, because these are following certain principles. And I'm going to show you a 3-minute video, and that video maybe you have already watched or not, but this is worthwhile video. So I want you to watch it for 3 minutes, and Dr. Stephen Covey itself will will tell you about why seven habits are different literature because of their. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I lost it. 1 second. I think that will. Just 1 second. I need to go to my history. It's just a 2-3 minutes. Okay. Um, yeah, I got it. So
When we get into the 7 Habits material, we have to realize that it is all based upon principles, upon natural laws. That is why we are presenting this foundational material first. We need to understand the concept of a principle and the concept of a paradigm, and also how to define effectiveness. Then we'll look at the 7 habits. I suggest that principles are not only natural laws, objective, factual, external to ourself. I suggest they are also self-evident.
So you can hear me. Okay, let me see. Yeah, Ifzal Hassan, you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Yes.
excellent. And you can hear the audio of the video as well?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so Dr. Stephen is explaining the principles are natural laws and they are objective, factual, external, and self-evident as well. So
How would we know that? We have found that if you can get enough people interacting freely and synergistically who are informed, all the value systems are the same. We find that regardless of one's background, religion, culture, nationality, race, gender, regardless of the level in the organization, regardless of the industry or the profession, the same underlying values are universal. They represent what we could call principles. There is consensus that surrounds them, such as integrity, service, contribution, the growth and development of people, kindness, how you treat people, dignity, fairness. These are universals. Every one of the habits represents a principle, a fundamental natural law that is self-evident.
yeah, so that's, let me start from here again. Okay, so these are the 7 habit principles. That's why they are successful, because millions of success stories. If you want to read the stories, there is a book, Living with the 7 Habits. You can read it, and we can go it further. What will happen if we will not follow the paradigms of principles to get the result? Like there are billions of people living in this world, on this planet. All are not following principle, or maybe 5% are following principle. What about the 90% people? Are they not successful? Are they not really successful, or they have a different ways of success criteria, or they are not really successful at all? Um, so these are the answer of things, because they don't follow principle. So that's why they have a very mediocre life. They have, although they are following principle, also they are maintaining their intelligences, but actually they are fragmented people. They think that they are victimized. All the time they have a victim feeling. Or even anybody who has a victim feeling, he or she should think that he or she is very fragmented person. That's not the way how he or she or he should be, because she will have a victimizing mindset that will share to non-sharing vision. She will not share any of things in the mind at all. It's very authoritative type of thing, because her or his passion are the very function of social mirror. He or she does not follow any law of the nature. Rather, he or she will do what the society is doing, and that will create a disappointment or disempowerment in the heart, which will give a great mediocrity or path of failure. You know, see, that's and the same thing is about his physically. Physically, that fragmented person will feel about that his or her body is indulgence in something, eating, overeating, mindless eating, or sitting for longer hours, not doing exercising, and that will lead to the misalignment on in her body, and is cause so many diseases actually, because of his body, because of their lack of fitness in terms of physical wise, and same economic wise. If they are poor, then also their body will be very misaligned. That's why many poor people have very poor health as well, because of many reasons. The same thing about his central, like which is the spiritual intelligence, is based on the ego, all the time egoistic. Something ego comes out and blah, 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 blah. Anything comes. I mean, something. If somebody is telling the truth, and I heard what, and ego comes and fighting start, and that's and that is because of the low trust in the spirit. That's all lead to the mediocrity. So Dr. Stephen Covey, in his eighth book, gives the path of failure, and they said you are failed because your every stage of life or action of life are failed because of these steps. Not and they are not at all organic principles. You know. So that's a paradigm of the failure in terms of principle. Let's go to the next one, and what is the right paradigm, which is a great path of greatness or path of success, and that is opposite. That person who follow the principle, who have a choice, who have four intelligences, that will be a complete person, whole person paradigm. Yeah, he has or she has a creative force because she has a vision, and that vision will find the path of greatness or become a successful. See, her or his heart will generate passion feeling, so much excitement, because she or he feel empowered, that feel greatness at the end. Her or his body is very disciplined in terms of eating, in terms of exercise, in terms of doing the right action in the right direction, because her body or his body is aligning. And why his body is aligning? Because of conscious. Spiritually, he or she is very technically sound. He has or she has a great knowledge of conscious, and he or she does meditation and pray with huge concentration, and that make them the model for others, you know. See, and that, so the great people always meant to be modeled by other people. So that's why even you don't ask them to follow me. People will start to follow you because now you are a model. You are a role model for them because your spirit is a great. You are following the principle. Uh, you have a whole person paradigm and you are following according to it. You are inspiring people. You know why? Because you have found your own voice. That's the beauty. That's a whole path Dr. Stephen has explained very well in the book, and that helps me to tell you the what is the power of the whole principle. So that's the paradigm. So we are just in a 5 minutes, and now it's a brainstorming minute. And again, I'm going to ask you a few questions, or you need to ask yourself that human life and nature move forward to support enrichment of prosperity of humanity only. I mean, everything around us is for humans only, or if there is no human, this is just a question. Still, there are principles. That's you can think about why natural disaster come. If this world or whole universe is following some principle, you know, and then natural disaster comes, it does mean that there is no natural principle followed by universe. It's a great question. Or do human actions on earth bring natural disaster on earth? Many people think that, like nowadays corona, COVID-19 is everywhere, and some people have a mindset that this is due to our bad acts, and we have messed up our whole planet. That's why nature is taking a revenge from us. Maybe without God or with God. There are both type of people. Do you believe that? Or I mean, it makes sense, but it does not make sense as well. But at the end, you have to decide what type of thoughts you have. You see? So, or my bad or good actions only destroy me or the external world as well. For example, if I lie someone, or if I theft something from someone, will it be bad for me or it impact on my environment as well? Because I did not follow a principle. I did not follow, I break the law of nature, something. But I mean, it destroy me. But does it destroy everything or to nearest surrounding, immediate surrounding around me? So these are the 4 fundamental brainstorming questions, and that has a link with principle. So I urge you to just think for 2 minutes, 2 minutes before we do conclusion of our presentation. Yeah, you can comment on any of the questions.
Okay, so I would like to comment on the first one.
Yeah.
Since I had a pet cat for last 1 month,
Mhm.
so I can talk on the behalf, like on behalf of the animals as well, because I wasn't in touch with animal life, so I had no idea.
Yeah.
So right now, I think it's only for life, whether it's life of an animal or human or plants or any existing thing that's there present in in this world. They deserve this, all the enrichment and all the resources. They deserve equally everything. And as far as this superior complex and this racism and this cultural advantages, this is something really sad, a very negative part of our society, which somehow people like us are actually promoting, unfortunately. So they are no different, they are just like us. So only the mentality is different, and God knows if it's in their brought up, or if it's the influence they have got in their lives, the experiences they have got in their lives. What is it exactly? And only God knows how to fix that, if they desire to change it. So the natural disaster, naturally, we know, I think since childhood in science also, we have studied the cycle, it, call it nitrogen cycle or call it the water cycle. So everything comes in cycle. So same is the natural processes. So if we will interfere in the natural principles, like for example sending the satellites just to overcome the that inquisitive behavior that we have as humans, that what's there outside, not keeping in mind that we are destroying the ozone. So what will happen in return? Whatever that's happening, the ice melting is there, green global warming is there, because of us, of course. So natural disasters, naturally, definitely, it has to do with us, because we are the ones who are utilizing the resources and not following the principles, just out of that greed of getting everything for ourselves. And definitely the third answer is same, that it's because of, also because of human actions. Not only, but also we are contributing. The thing that had to happen maybe after 1,000 years, we are letting it happen within 100 years, maybe, or maybe less than 100 years, because everything happening in 2020 is you know the best example. And my bad or good actions only destroy me, or of course it destroys the external world also. Like I've studied in my university about the that that chaos or something effect, that butterfly somewhere, if it flies, that ripple, that ripple effect is there, it affects the entire universe. So definitely my good and bad actions has to do a lot, not only with me, to my generations to come, because I'm contributing as a human to this world, to the internal world, to the external world. So I think that's what I think about the questions you have asked.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. I appreciate you. You have a great sense of clarity.
Thank you.
That clarity has also glimpses of following the natural principles. So
Mm,
absolutely, everything is connected with natural principle. And if we don't follow the principle, that will impact on us as well, and also to the external world, which and everything outside is external world, and it means we are affecting ourselves. It means the surrounding is also impacting, being affected by this. Absolutely. Now there is another question about, for example, the whole universe. There are planets and galaxies, and there are so much disaster is going also there. Many
yeah.
planets or stars, they break as well, and they turn into a new star as well. And sometimes they are following some principle, and sometimes it does not look they are following particular path or stuff. So my question is, do we have a connection with them, or they are running in a different way?
Well, honestly, as per my understanding, we are interfering. If not you or me, NASA or the people, doing all the technology related progresses, they are definitely interfering somehow. And this will definitely have an impact on the space and the planets and the galaxies. And then definitely being a Muslim or being a believer, there is something called end of the world or judgment day. So definitely these things will ultimately bring us to that point. So it could be something from God, it could be answer to what we have done as a human, it could be anything.
Right, right. Excellent, excellent. Yes, Mr. Hassan, you have any point?
Yes, regarding these 4 points, I'm agree with the first point with the lady. That's the human life and the nature move forward to support enrichment of the prosperity and the humanity only. Obviously, yes, it is, because as she said, this the racism, this the hateism, and these things are obviously it's not for the enrichment, but the enrichment and the prosperity only come with the good action, not with the bad actions. So second one, the natural disaster comes. I think I got a little bit, being a believer, being a Muslim, I got a little bit different, point of view on the second one. Yes, it could be, the natural, it comes the natural disaster due to the misalignment of the natural principles within the universe, but sometimes it could be a test as well for the people are living on this face of earth as well.
Very good.
So being a believer, it might, like we can be tested how what's our reactions are, in the result of the disaster, how we react when a disaster comes, and how we act when a disaster comes. For example, if there's an earthquake, if there is a problem on this face of earth, so the people being affected on the face of earth where the earthquake, so how we are contributing into the earthquake, how we are helping those people, how we are looking at those people. So as we discussed a few weeks before, so some people maybe they are just ignoring it, some people they are showing the sympathy, but some people there will be who are showing not just the sympathy, they are showing the empathy instead of a sympathy. So they think if we been affected like in this earthquake, so they think like a different way. So the third one, do human actions on the earth bring the natural disaster on the planet? Yes, if we will go against the law of the nature, if we will go against the nature, it is the human action can be involved on this face of earth to bring a disaster. So the fourth one, the bad or the good actions only destroy me. No, obviously we are living the society, we are living among the people. So it's not just only one person. So our actions, good actions or the bad actions, definitely got an impact on the other people in the society as well.
Excellent, excellent. I appreciate my contributors. You guys have a great contributor in terms of understanding how the principles are working and how it can impact negatively to ourselves and to our environment where we live. This is the just last slide for today, and I will wrap up in this slide, and that is about conclusion. Yeah. So this conclusion I have extracted uh, from another web resource is a Keith Lockich, that why principles are important, and these are the conclusion of our today's. So principles are not commandments or out of context rule. They are actually casual generalizations. Uh, that is, yeah. So that is a fundamental truth that integrates and explains a vast range of concrete fact. It is very good explanation of principle. General, that he's talking about general principle, but in a second point he is talking about personally moral about morality, which is a central theme of today's presentation. That moral principle are casual generalization that help us to understand the effect of different choices we might make and thereby to act successfully in the world. Yeah, it's very much understandable. And the last point in terms of morality, that the moral principles are important because they provide universal standards that are grounded in human nature and that each of us can apply to our own lives to achieve success and happiness. It's a very fair takeaway for today about natural principle. Uh, obviously, that the main purpose of this presentation and coaching session is about to bring our attention towards phenomena of natural laws around us and making sure that we can enrich ourselves so that we can harmonize with the law operating around me so that I can take action and that action leads me to the path of greatness rather than the path of failure. That's my, and everybody has a different approach. It doesn't necessarily you follow me or what my attention I want you to take. Everybody has a different life and everybody can take very diverse attention because for me there is no only day and night. I believe there is so many dimensions between day and night. So thank you very much. And the last announcement is next Sunday, 8 p.m. British Standard Time. We will again live on Zoom, and I will share with you the new link. We will follow our new topic on, and then it will be followed by question answer. If you want me to have any great topic, then you can share with me on a WhatsApp or email me. Also, if you want to work with me, then you can. You're very welcome to work with us in a coaching and training and mentoring, where you can bring a lot of change in yourself, and also you will learn how you can become a coach or trainer, and you can coach so many other people also, like you have made be changing in yourself, being a mentee or coachee. I have created a Google Classroom. I invite exclusively to you who is participating in this session that this is a code, class code. Go on a classroom.google.com and put this code and you will join us. There is an app as well on iPhone and Android phone. You can download and any correspondence within our limited people. So we will communicate there directly rather than we can share something publicly because there are so many problems in a public sharing as well. If you have any query, please write to me on lifemasterysuccess@gmail.com. I really thankful to you and wish you all the best of your life to become a very successful and living a greater life for not only for you, but also the people around you and environment around you. Thank you so much. See you next time and next week. I will share this video on my YouTube channel, the recording, and you can, again, if you miss any point, you can watch it live. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.